What's your oh fuck, I am an asshole moment? Someone I hadn't talked to in years came up to me and started telling me about how they haven't been doing that good lately and that they found out they have cancer. Well, I was at work and only half paying attention, so after he stopped talking I said that's good. Haven't seen him since. Luckily for you, this is the kind of thing where an apology has no statute of limitations. Years ago I went into a Hot Topic and as I was at the register, the girl working started telling me about all the new Metallica shirts they had gotten. For some reason, I told her I wasn't really into wearing band shirts anymore, which was mostly true, and even though I didn't mean to, it came out sounding really snobbish. At the time, I thought her reaction was kinda strange, even accounting for my accidental condescension. Shortly after I left the store I remembered I was wearing a 9 Inch Nails shirt. You made a shitty retail job brighter that day. Lol, I'm a very upfront person. If I were the cashier my ass would totally have pointed that out to you, in a jovial way though. 8th grade. Speech class. A kid had been absent a few days, and when he came back, I started razzing him a bit. We were friendly, but not friends, so I felt okay kidding around, claiming he was just pretending to be sick to get out of class, that sort of thing. Nothing really mean, though. He took it for a bit, then turned, looked me dead in the eyes, and said in the flattest voice, "No, my mother died." And turned back around. If God had struck me dead with a bolt of lightning, when I stood before him at the pearly gates, I'd have said yeah, fair enough. My 7th grade teacher cracked jokes in front of the class. He was known for being a ball buster. After I came back from a few days absent, I did the deadpan "my papa died." He turned red, sucked in his breath, told me he was gonna go fall on some rocks now, and left me to take my seat. I was driving down a road and a lot of people were honking and yelling at me on the street. I got angry and flipped a bunch of people off and honked back. At the end of the street I saw a one-way sign and realized I was going in the wrong direction. The other day I was tailgating behind a car that was tailgating another car doing half the speed limit. I wondered why they didn't honk them, so instead I was about to honk a few times, but something in my subconscious told me to wait. The person between me and the slow driver changed lanes, so I got a good look off. A big rear window, with flowers. The car is also super long. Oh. It's a hearse. It's going slow, to be careful with the body and flowers. Oh my god, I was so glad I didn't honk. I was drunk at a pub and shouted for the band to play Free Bird. They stopped in the middle of the song they were playing, started up Free Bird and called me up on stage to sing it. I froze, forgot all the lyrics and made an absolute ass of myself. Props to that band though. That right there makes me never want to shout Free Bird when I am drunk now. Haha. This reminds me of a time I saw the band Taking Back Sunday when they were supporting their first album. They were opening for Brand New and were just getting a following, so there were probably only 500 people there. Someone in the crowd yelled the name of a song and in a mostly silent venue the guitarist said to the dude, "Chill, we only have 11 songs, we will get to it." In early high school, late 90s, so if you got a girl's number it was the house number. I called a girl's house and her dad answered. She was out, but I noticed his speech was a bit slow and slurred. Next day at school I mentioned I had called, and asked if her dad had been drinking. Well, turns out he didn't drink much since his stroke. Still feel awful about that. Okay, but what about your relationship with that girl? Were you still friends after, or did she hate you for saying that? I had a similar one. Told a friend I didn't want to hang out at his house because of his dad's drinking. Didn't realize how hurtful that was at the time. I was making fun of an old guy I'd seen outside our school at a basketball tournament to some friends in the locker room. He looked and talked like Farmer Fran from The Waterboy. Turned out to be the dad of one of the guys I was talking to. Still can't even think of that movie without it bringing up endless amounts of shame. At my former job, my boss was looking out the window and saw this guy get out of his car and head towards out front door. Boss says out loud, "Oh man, look at this toothless redneck." Co-worker says, "That's my father-in-law." Boss told me later that'll teach me and face palmed. Co-worker wasn't mad, he agreed Phil looked like a hick. I was a senior in high school and was waiting for my dad to pick me up. At the time, I was also the head student athletic trainer. As my dad pulled up in his 1971 Ford Galaxy with a big old V8 engine, and this was in 1992, a couple of freshman football players commented, "Hey, I wonder whose dad is driving the Uncle Buckmobile." I turned around and glared and said, "Mine." They realized who it was and quickly shut up smile. It was kinda awesome, and my dad got a kick out of it. "What's your name?" I asked. "Shara." Trying to be playful, "Oh cool, like Sarah with a lisp." "I have a lisp. My name is Sarah." "Oof." My dad has a friend named Waymond. He doesn't have a speech impediment, and his name isn't Raymond, but it usually takes him a while to straighten this out when he first meets people, especially on the phone. Similar, a friend of mine and I are setting up a board game. He misplaces some tokens, I correct it. Shortly after that, he misplaces some other tokens. "What's wrong with you? Are you colorblind?" He, yes. That was the moment that I remembered. I knew that he is colorblind. It happened some years ago. I still tend to randomly apologize. Not that it helps. 2 years ago we celebrated New Year's Eve. During fireworks my daughter asked why it all explodes in different colors. I tell her that it is because of different metals and stuff inside the firework. Then I try to remember which ingredients are used for which color, but I can't remember. However, I knew that friend of mine has a PhD in physics, he should know. When I realized the reason I've lost so many friends is that I'm so shitty at getting back to people. Ah man, this one hits home. Took me 10 years to realize I've lost so many potential best friends in my life, only because I wasn't a good friend to them. Broke up with my first girlfriend who was really attached to me, just by ignoring her. I feel so bad. I was just a kid, but that was a harsh treatment. I did the same. She literally had to run after me one day to ask if we should break up. I really suck at conflict, but what an ass thing to do. She was an amazing person too. If I may ask, what made you want to go the route of just ignoring her? Posting on Reddit sometimes makes me reread my shit and realize I'm being an asshole. I don't do it on purpose, but I think years of reading and writing posts on the internet has tainted my tone. Try Kegels, and tone your taint instead. I don't know if I've got so far as being an asshole, per se, but I've ticked people off by writing without thinking how my words might sound to some people. I'm now trying to limit my comments to positive, informative, or harmlessly funny, and it's great to see hundreds of upvotes once in a while. I was in the army, making fun of a guy, said he couldn't even get a medal for something in the Special Olympics. He then pointed out his daughter was in the Special Olympics. I profusely apologized, and he accepted, but it still keeps me awake at night. I once told the joke, "What's the hardest part about eating a vegetable?" "The wheelchair," to a girl in high school. She just stared blankly at me and said, "You don't know about my brother, do you?" She then pulled out her phone and showed me her lock screen. A photo of her and her brother, who had been wheelchair bound since birth. Not my most proud moment. I'm glad you apologized and seemed to learn from your mistake. I am very close with many people with disabilities. Typically we expect people to be uneducated and say rude things, but what matters is if people learn from their mistakes. My friend group tried to stay close after high school, but we all fell out of touch, as you do, as everyone forged their own path in life. Well, mine led me down a path of depression, anxiety, and failure. So every year or so they would hold a get-together to reconnect and hang out. I attended a couple of these, but as time went on and my downward spiral got worse, I stopped responding to calls, texts, invites, etc. Because I thought that no one would want to hang out with this version of me. I was invited to 2 weddings which I didn't even respond to because of this negative loop, and then when my best friend from that group was diagnosed with cancer, I couldn't even bring myself to face him. I tried to go to his funeral but couldn't enter the building because I felt that I didn't deserve to be there. Finally, a few months ago, the parents of one of my friends saw me at work and wanted to talk to me. They told me that my friend group was really broken up, that I ignored all of their attempts to reach out to me. It was then that I realized that in all of my stress about being miserable to be around, I had become an asshole to those who tried to care about me. Edit, I wrote this as a confession into a void, expecting it to get lost in the ether that is the internet. I never expected to get so much support to the point where I'm literally crying. Thank you everyone. I've been trying to get through it alone for the past 4 years, and to know I'm not alone goes a long way. Depression is so hard that way. We reject the world so others can't reject us. I am so sorry you went through that. Maybe it's time to pick up the phone and reach out. They probably miss you as much as you miss them. Be open, honest, lay your cards on the table. It sounds like you have some good friends, give it a go, you have nothing to lose. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.